I am going to teach you how to use the command compress to compress an archive in Linux. You can use this in any Linux-based system, with Linux or macOS. So the compress command, it's no longer that popular these days. Usually people would use gzip or bzip2, right, for a Linux system. But I'm going to teach you how to do it anyway if you ever come across compress. Because I am using Ubuntu Linux 18.04, compress is not installed by default, so I actually have to install it using apt. And the command has a different name. It's called ncompress. Okay, so let's get started. Here I have I have an archive, a tar file that has two files inside the archive, one being notes.txt, the other being sample.jpg. I did tar-tvf archive.tar to see what's inside the archive without extracting it. The -t stands for just check the contents of the archive, V for verbose, and F to specify the file, the tar file. Now, if I try to do compress and the name of the archive, it's not going to find it. You likely will see something if you use Ubuntu. It's going to tell you, hey, you might want to install ncompress. So I'm going to do sudo apt install ncompress to get it. I already had it before, so that's why I'm going to be really quick to install. And now I can do compress archive.tar. And if I check ls-l for the contents of my current directory, I see that archive.tar remains there, and it doesn't seem that anything changed. And that is because compress could not reduce the file size. So you might find that compress, if you try to use it with a tar archive, sometimes it will not achieve any level of compression, and because of that, it won't do anything. It would just leave the tar file as is. Now, to illustrate this point, and to actually get something to be compressed, I got this file called image.bmp that, if I include in the archive, will actually allow us to see compress actually doing something. And the extension would be .z, right? .tar.z, capital Z. Now, let me see what I can do here. I would like to add it to the archive. So in order to add that to the archive, let me see what I can do here. There's a command for tar that allows you to append to the archive, and that's the R option. So if I do, right now, if I do tar-tvf archive.tar, we see there's only two files, node.txt and sample.jpg. I want to add image.bmp to that tar file. I'm going to say tar dash, and the option is going to be -r vf. V is for verbose and F to specify the file name, archive.tar, and at the end I'm going to say the name of the file I want to append. In this case, image.bmp. Now let's have a look again at the archive.tar with tar-tvf, and I can see image.bmp is now included in addition to notes.txt and sample.jpg. Now let's try to use compress again. I'm going to say compress archive.tar. And I'm going to do ls-l, and I can see now that archive.tar became the file archive.tar.z. Okay, so in this case, compress was able to reduce the file size to achieve some level of compression. Therefore, it actually made the tar.z file. Okay, now let's learn how to uncompress. Well, intuitively, it would be just uncompress followed by the file name, right? So let me make a directory here. let me say dir1, and I'm going to cd to dir1 and try to decompress here. Now, typically you would use uncompress, but because I'm using Ubuntu, and if I read the manual for compress, it's actually uncompress.real, and there's a note here saying that usually it would be uncompress, but from the case of Debian, you have to use .real, uncompress.real, because there's a conflict with, it says here, this has been done to avoid conflicting with the more commonly used program with the same name that is part of the gzip package. So there seems to be a conflict with the gzip package. That's why we have to use uncompress.real. Okay, in my case, I don't know if you're gonna need it. Just try with uncompress, or check your manual page, man compress, to see if you have to do that or not. In any case, I'm gonna say uncompress.real ... to go to one level up, archive.tar.z. So this is gonna uncompress that here. Actually, not here, right? I didn't mean to extract yet, so I'm sorry. Let me go back one level up. It's actually going to do the uncompression wherever it was before. So you can see archive.tar is back. And yeah, if I wanted to extract to dir1, I would see dir1 and do that tar-x f with the file name being /archive.tar, and then that would work, right? I'm going to go there, cd dir1 tar-x f. If you want to be verbose, add the v / archive.tar. You can see they're all here. And if I go back, archive is there still. Okay, so that's essentially it. If you want to compress something, you say compress space file name, tar file name. And if you want to decompress, you want to say uncompress, in my case, uncompress.real, space the name of the tar.z file. Note, compress might not always be able to compress anything, so you might end up with the same tar file without any compression. In that case, there wouldn't be a .tar.z extension. It would be just .tar, because it couldn't achieve any level of compression, so it didn't do anything. So that's it for this video, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.